Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 213. I'm your host as always. I'm Dan. I'm joined by my co-host as always. It's Samson. How you doing, Samson? Are you swearing a lot? Do I need to keep you away from the swears? Because of Deadpool.
I'm doing well. I've been playing confetti mode, Dan.
I see.
Like any good child.
Yeah, kid mode.
Yeah.
Kid.
Yeah, that's what they call it. Kid mode. Yes.
Kid mode.
I kind of wish like kid mode was like mini mode in Walkabout. Just made everything tiny.
Smaller. Yeah.
Or just me tiny. I guess everything's normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, things are good. Things are wild, and I can finally talk about Demeo.
Yeah.
Because Dan, I've been sucked in. No spoilers yet, and we got Deadpool to talk about. Dan, so much going on. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Also excited for talking about both of those games, to be honest. We weren't actually even meant to talk about Deadpool this week. It was going to be next week because we didn't get early access or anything like that because we're not part of that meta program, which is fine. But we were going to save it for next week. But it seems like the people are talking, so it's worth having some impressions of it. I've played 3 hours of it. I think you've played like the first hour. So we have
I played that whole first mission through the first boss, and now I'm like in the hub.
Yeah. So we have some early impressions to talk to you about, but we'll probably have more impressions in future shows. But yeah, so I'm really excited for this episode. We have those two big games to talk about, of course. We had the VR game showcase last week as well that we need to talk about because we didn't talk about that last time. We also have the VR Game Awards, and this is going to be the LTO edition, Samson. So straight out the gate here, what I'm going to do is in the description of this episode and also in the Discord, I'm going to post a Google form which will go over the following questions. What is the best overall game? What is the best mixed reality game? What is the most surprising game? The most hidden gem game, if that makes any sense. Probably better change my wording on that. And best Walkabout DLC. And you've all got until December 6th, Saturday, December 6th at midnight to fill in that form. And what we'll do is we'll get all of the results and we'll kind of pick up what the best overall game is and all that stuff, you know.
Now, is that after the or before the next Walkabout DLC?
I mean, the next Walkabout DLC time, right? Doesn't have a date, according to it. However, they did post like 12 days of Walkabout, which is leading up to the Alice in Wonderland release, and they're going to show a few things about it. And that starts on the 21st of November. So if you do the math, that takes you to around like December 2nd, December 3rd. It's that week. So you could assume that it's coming out that week, to be honest. So, you could wait if you wanted to.
You know what happens when you assume, Dan.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we don't know anything.
Did you also see that the Jeff Keighley Game Award, like VR games, were also announced?
Yeah, exactly. We had
pretty exciting.
We had Alien, Rogue Incursion. We had Arcanage, Midnight Walk, Ghost Town, and Deadpool VR as the 5. Everyone's going, why is Deadpool in there? Because it literally just got released and it's already in Game of the Year discussion. But you got to include it. It's Meta's flagship game of the year, to be honest.
There were a couple, or at least one other flat game that's either like just releasing or not.
I think there's a cutoff date in like December is basically the cutoff. Anything after December just gets roped into next year. So like Thief VR would be a next year title, for example. But yeah, out of those, Samson, you've played pretty much all of them.
Well,
apart from Alien.
I haven't played Alien, and I haven't beat the final boss in Arcanage, and I obviously am only about an hour into Deadpool, but I'm pulling for Vitruvius in Arcanage, I think. amongst all of these.
Nice. Yeah, I wasn't, because I've obviously not played Midnight Walk, and a lot of people love that game. It seems like a very good game of the year kind of winner as well, if you know what I mean, in terms of caliber.
I did really like that one. It was very emotional. That one was like, I cried at the end of it, Dan. It was a really good game.
Right.
But I'd be happy for all of them to win, really. But Vitruvius, like just that small team, and to go from Mervils, and then I forget their second game right now off the top of my head, and then to win Game of the Year with your next one.
That'd be class.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be class. I hope so, because it doesn't. I'm not sure what the Arcanage quest numbers are, but just based on quest reviews, there's not many reviews in there. So yeah, the more exposure, the better for sure. And obviously that's on PC. That's also on PlayStation as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, the fact that it's nominated gives it exposure to the very least. But yeah, we'll see what happens at the Game Awards for sure. It's always kind of fun to see that. But yeah, we'll have our own little Game Awards community style. So I want to get all of your inputs, and from there we'll basically have a good nominations list from everybody and kind of discover what everyone thinks as the Game of the Year is. And you don't have to be part of the Discord. You should. There's a link right in below if you want to join the Discord and see it in there. But like I said, it will be in the description as well. Sounds like, I guess, already housekeeping, but do you want to announce housekeeping?
Housekeeping.
So like I said, the Discord is below. You can join the Discord. We had a few people join recently again, which is great. There's always good conversations in there. We've also got the Walkabout tournament again, which is starting up real soon with Healing Entree. The next season has been announced and is starting up. And also, if you want to play Walkabout with us, mostly Sundays with Samson, but sometimes we have our Thursdays as well. Now I'm getting distracted because Samson's brought his dog onto the screen. So if you're on the video version, you can see his incredibly pretty dog Ruby right there. But other stuff in the comments. Oh, Samson, I can't hear you.
No, she's not usually in the room, but this time when I did housekeeping, she was like, who's knocking? What's going on?
That's fair. You can also write into the show. There's an episode discussion chat in our Discord. There's also letstalkoculus at gmail.com, and also on Spotify, YouTube, and all of that stuff. We did get a comment from Future Proof on the Discord. Samson, do you want to read out that comment?
I'd love to. From Future Proof. Will both or either of you be getting the Steam frame? Will you pivot the podcast to cover PC VR, or will you stick to meta, seeing as the frame is in a very similar tier to the Quest 3 in terms of specs, etc.? So,
Sams, do you want to answer that? Because I think you're the one.
I mean, it does it does sort of depend on price, but yeah, I'm pretty sold on getting this thing pretty early on, Dan. Outside of something pretty outrageously priced.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited to just... Did you see Walkabout's the first Android game to be available on it too? So like,
rightly so.
I've got a pretty big Steam library, and to think that most of the games that I have on there will be able to be played mobile. Now, Dan, I've got one of my friends who's a gamer friend, but not really into VR. I got him a Quest 2 a while ago, and, he played it a bit, but it hasn't been touched in a while, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
He really wants to play Skyrim VR. His current options, he doesn't have a PC, would be to buy a PlayStation VR 1. But the question is, do you think the Steam VR version of Skyrim VR will be able to be played on the Steam frame standalone? Because then he'd probably be sold.
I would be surprised if it can't. They played Ghost Town, which is the PC VR version on the Steam frame. I know some outlets did play. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure some outlets did say they played Skyrim, but I think that might have been streamed. But I could be wrong on that. For some reason, that's in my head. But yeah, you never know. You never know.
I just imagine there's going to take some effort on the part of developers, and for such an old game, even a game that's updated for every system, it seems. But anyway, yeah, I'm pretty much sold on this thing, and I mean, I've had a PC, so here and there we have covered PC VR stuff. I played some UEVR and all that jazz, but
we've dabbled into the other markets because of obviously you have those items. You have the PlayStation VR. We don't talk about PlayStation VR news or anything like that unless it's really significant. But we'll talk about the games because you would have been playing them, right? So it'll probably be more the same regardless. I'm not planning to buy it at all. Not at launch anyway. I kind of want to. I like when it comes to the VR headsets. I already have one. I bought the PlayStation VR 2 at launch, and I realized that it was just not for me, or not just having both at the same time. It's just like there's only so much I play, so it doesn't make sense for me personally to have more than one VR headset unless it was so different. Obviously, if I have the Apple Vision Pro, that's a very different VR headset, right? Completely different thing.
And you've got the deck, so you're into Steam now.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I would like to get it at some point for sure, but it would be more like a wait and see. Let's see what happens over the first year and see what support it gets, see how games run. If honestly the library is exactly the same as Quest 3 minus Deadpool, Batman, the exclusives and such, it's very compelling to me for sure. Because also you add with the. Don't love Meta, let's just say that, as a company, kind of their own kind of ethical stuff going behind that, to be honest. So to be able to branch off of that and go to Steam, which and Valve, I would much rather do, to be honest. And to be fair, if we both had Steam frames and we kind of ditched the Quest, the show wouldn't change too much, to be honest. If at all, like most of the stuff will still be exactly the same, right?
Yeah. I mean, we both still have Quest. It's almost like each headset would have its a more niche purpose. Yeah, like for anything MR, I'd go to the Quest 3. If I wanted to take advantage of OLEDs, I'd probably go to really high fidelity, I'd go to my PSVR. And the thing Steam offers is the thing sort of Meta took away. It will track your time, your gameplay sessions. It'll track your achievements. You can see your friends' achievements, compare those things.
Yeah.
All these little things that sort of add up.
Yeah. So it's also compelling to be able to have a lighter headset, more powerful headset, and be able to stream my Steam games that I have. I don't know how, they never said how powerful this is going to be compared to the Steam Deck, or if it's on this, I don't know. They said the Steam machine is going to be 6 times powerful, but they never said anything about the Steam frame. So be curious to see what it can play. But I'm pretty sure it'll be able to play everything that my Steam Deck currently plays, to be honest, because it's a VR headset, right? And then some. So to be able to just play them in a big screen, if it's comfortable enough to play that for a long time, or take it on a plane and kind of have like almost a Vision Pro kind of stuff that you can do with it, but have it in
black and white. Yeah,
not in pass-through, obviously, in VR. For like $800 US is actually pretty compelling as well. So yeah, for me, it's a let's see how this matures before jumping in. But I'm very excited for you to get it. And if I come around your house for PAX, I'm very excited to try it. If it comes out by then as well, that's
might just be orders.
Yeah, who's to say? They did say early 2026, but that could be anything. That could be anything from January till like May. Would be early.
In one video I watched, they asked, like spring, and they said no, winter. So that makes me think, at least before the end of March.
Okay. And PAX is like the last week of March, so it could be be around that time. But yeah, thanks for the question, Future Proof, as always. All right, Samson, we've had 2 big games come out. We've also had the Thrill of the Fight 2 with its full update come out as well, but we both not had a chance to play that, and that's something that I'll definitely play over the weekend for next week for sure. Deadpool, Demeo, Samson. Let's start with maybe the freshest one. Actually, not the freshest one. The one that came out first, Deadpool. Let's start off that one. I don't say freshest one, but
it's freshest for us as we record.
Freshest for us because we got Demeo first, but yeah, for everybody, Demeo is the second game. Let's start with Deadpool. Let's go over impressions. Like I said, I played 3 hours. Samson, you played around an hour or so. So the Deadpool, obviously, VR is out. It's getting decent reviews. It's like 7 or 8 out of 10 reviews is what I would say on the average. I've not seen all of them, but I've seen like a few. It's $50 USD, which is kind of aligns with Batman and Asgard's Wrath and all of these higher tier games, which are obviously ended up being free because they were bundled. But this is the first game that Meta's put out since those bundles that they're charging.
And no bundle.
No bundle. No, I was surprised. To be honest, to not have a holiday bundle. But maybe they're like, you know what? Batman is still the number one game on this platform and we just want everyone to have it. But I don't know. But anywho, it's $50 USD. It's all about combat. It's witty humor and basically putting yourself in a comic book itself. Kind of aligns great to the actual Deadpool character itself. Samson, I know you haven't played too much of it, but what are your like initial impressions so far?
Then it feels just like Path of the Warrior, expanded and then branded with Deadpool. And that is to say that I'm really enjoying it thus far, because I really like that game. So I've played through the intro boss, and now I'm sort of in the main hub, where it seems like the game sort of starts and takes off. You'll start getting missions, Dan, in my first hour, I've killed people with katanas, some sort of Uzi, shotgun, my pistols with unlimited ammo, a grenade, a baton, and my feet by kicking them. So much blood. It's just a lot of fun to do all this, I guess. And, body parts will fly off over to the top fashion. It's very much an arcadey, leaning into this like arcadey where a video game in the best of ways. It's sort of like everything I love, right? I don't have to worry about dying really, because Deadpool's secret, superhero power is super healing. So you never have to worry about like healing yourself or figuring it out or getting a syringe in quick enough.
Actually,
the only times I've died so far is when I jumped off cliff.
Samson, quick thing there, just to see your arm healing back is actually really fun.
Dude, that was weird. It
kind of grows.
The first time I saw that, it gets tiny.
Tiny, forearms / fingers and such, and it starts to grow back into your full hand. It's actually, it's pretty cool. And it throws you off. I've died a few times like that where it has been chopped off. And it's still, every time I look down, I'm just like, because sometimes you're mid combat and your arm has fallen off and then it just grows back. It's it's hilarious.
Quite funny.
But you've died by just kind of jumping off and maybe getting.
Yeah, I jumped off an edge before.
Yeah, that's fair.
And just like finding fun ways to kill. There's running on walls, there's double jumping, both feel very good. Lots of freedom of movement. And I haven't really had any issues thus far. Also, there's like the katanas up top on your back, right? So one over each shoulder. There's the pistols on your hip, and then there's a grapple gun on your lower back, which I don't think I've ever seen before.
I know.
And then there's grenades on your wrist. So there's a lot going on too.
There's a lot, and when combat gets frantic and such, it's actually kind of hard to kind of pull things off because, it kind of wants you to use everything and kind of do combos and such. But because everything's kind of everywhere and it just takes a minute to realize, I end up just using katanas for a bunch of the period or just using my guns and not switching as much.
Do you throw them?
Yeah. I do enjoy throwing them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most fun I have is just launching my katanas at people. Really
I
far
actually
away
put the thing is I crisscross my arms and kind of scissor them like as I'm going around, and it just like chops off heads galore and limbs galore. It's kind of like hilarious. But Samson, this is I have a lot of thoughts to discuss in the first 3 hours, but just as initial impressions, the first 30 minutes to an hour of the game is so much fun. It kind of throws you straight into the action of like you start off in a car and the visuals are beautiful and it's just a massive like set piece which you can at least skip the initial part of it, but which is kind of weird. But if you just go through it, you're just shooting these people as you're just traveling down. And I don't think you can die. I'm not sure. I didn't die in that opening segment.
I also didn't die.
But like, I don't think you can technically die because it's all part of the kind of showpiece. But I don't know. Maybe you can. But yeah, it's really fun intro. And there'll be some minor spoilers here, but in the moments which happen
for the first hour,
in the moments, not even just for the first hour, but like moments throughout this game in the first 3 hours, there's been times where you're not attached to your body, let's just say, and it's actually really cool. Like when you're not, like there's obviously at the first hour your head's chopped off and you're kind of just looking with your head and your body's somewhere else and whatnot. But then later on, it's just your upper torso is chopped off, but then you're fighting with just your upper torso and such, and it's kind of hilarious. But then your legs are fighting, but in somewhere else in the distance, and it's like it's actually quite funny in how it was, and it just obviously plays perfectly into the character of Deadpool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
But yeah, this game, Samson, is all about fun. It's all about fun. It's not taking itself seriously at all. It lends perfectly into the character. There are, like you said, Path of the Warrior is a game that you could see that's heavily influenced, coming from the same studio at Twisted Pixel. There's a few parts in Path of the Warrior that I wish was in Deadpool, and we'll get onto that in a moment. But in general, it's very much a similar take in a way. Like Mission 1, which is the intro mission that you did, there's a bunch of humans. And then Mission 2, or the official Mission 1, but Mission 2, it's a bunch of ninjas. And then I'm assuming when you go to different missions, there's like robots and all that stuff, right? Different kind of enemy types per mission. And that's exactly what Path of the Warrior was like too. Each mission had its own like kind of unique enemy. And then I'm not obviously played it to the end, but I would not be surprised if like towards the end, all of these kind of characters come together and there's all sorts of different types of characters that you're facing. Because that's what you did in Path of the Warrior. And also because...
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah, because of that, you're kind of approaching them slightly differently. So in the human characters, you can kind of approach them however you want. But in the ninja ones, they're actually... bullets don't really affect them that much. You can shoot them, but it's like minimal, where is more to do with melee combat. And I remember in Path of the Warrior, it was something similar to like there's certain move sets or whatever that will work better. But yeah, you can see the Path of the Warrior resemblances, right? Like you can see the inspiration from their own game, which makes sense. And it's a great fit for it. So I want to talk about a few of the bits in depth after playing 3 hours. Talk about the gameplay first. First of all, it's really fast. Like really fast. Like I was kind of worried how fast it was because as you're pushing the thumbstick, you're basically running all the time. And it's like the speed of it's really fast. And like I ended up like pushing the thumbstick just slowly, just so I'm kind of walking rather than going really fast. But then by the time I got
double jumping around.
Yeah, by the time I got used to it, it was fine. And I never got motion sick at all whilst playing it. And it encourages it, right? There's plenty of times where there's arenas of like 20 enemies that are coming at you, and the whole thing is you're just running up and down, you're jumping, you're kicking, you're katana, you're doing everything you can. And it's just really fun to slice and dice your enemies. The starter guns that you have, which are his main guns in the actual movies and comics, they don't seem to do too much damage compared to like your katanas and such. But you can upgrade your guns as you go along, and we'll talk about that. But the gameplay loop, Samson, from what you've played, is kind of the same in the next mission too. That's pretty much like you fight a bunch of enemies, you move to the next period. Maybe there's some ever so slight platforming of like jumping up and down a different platform, or maybe using your grapple gun, but it's very, very, very minimal. And then you're fighting a bunch of enemies again. and then you go to the next area and you fight a bunch of enemies again, etc., etc.
With a lot of commentary.
A crap ton of commentary throughout the whole thing. There is some comics that you can pick up as well. So there's like collectible comics, which is really cool. Did you find many in your first hour?
Yeah, I found 6 out of 8.
Nice.
You know who's gonna love those is Pow. But when the 1 out of 8 or 2 out of 8, when that notification comes up, it is identical to Path of the Warrior. Like when I forget which part, but the little bar looks like everything looked the same.
Interesting. Yeah, I did not put that together, but that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, similar to Path of the Warrior in a way as well, where you're in area to area to area to area kind of thing. So far, Samson, I'm not sure about what you say here, but I found the game really easy, and I changed from you don't select the difficulty; it starts off with normal, but you can change it in the settings. So I changed it to hard, and it's still really easy. I finished both missions now on hard, and it's still pretty straightforward. And the only time I'm dying is falling as well, or in the ninja mission, there's a lot of traps, and I've hit the traps many times. But there is an ultra hard mode. I can't remember what it's called, so I will try that next time, to be honest.
I wonder if it just makes the enemies more spongy. What's it?
Oh, maybe.
How does it get harder? I don't know.
I don't know, because I still found it quite straightforward. But yeah, maybe actually. Maybe it does make them spongy. I don't know. I'll have to test out. I'll have to go to the next one and just kind of see.
I appreciate the ease. Like I said, it's almost similar to how I put Arcanage in easy mode, so I didn't really have to you don't have to think about the combat so much as it's almost like the bullet storm or whatever that where you'd get fancy kills. Yeah. You can kind of think oh, this is how I want to be killing you, not oh my, like in Batman.
It's different.
Because I'm so afraid of dying. It's oh my god, what do I? There's always a right decision, I guess, to be made. Even in combat, right? You get those little cues of oh, you've got to time all this stuff correctly. Whereas I don't necessarily get overwhelmed because I'm oh, I'll just grab my katana and toss it towards you, and then I'll pick up the gun that's floating now above your body, and we're moving on, right?
Sure.
There's just. I like not having to think about it, and I can just jump all around the arena.
I feel like Yoda in Star Wars, Episode 3, when he finally puts down the walking stick and he's jumping around like a crazy guy.
Yeah,
that's how I feel like. I'm jumping around like crazy. What do you think about the combat in general, how it feels and such? Because I've seen reviews, people saying it doesn't feel like there's not much weight towards them.
There's very little weight to the guns, and at first I was dang, you can just hold the triggers down to shoot, and I was actually trying to shoot each time, and I was I see why you can do that. This is very tiring.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know you could hold down the button to shoot. I've just been pressing it multiple times, and that first boss, all I was doing was press, shooting.
Yeah, you can just hold it down.
Just hold it? Oh, handy.
Yeah.
Handy. So it's obviously by design, right? It's by design how the combat's like that.
It feels like the enemies in Path of the Warrior, just now they have guns.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not going to be running and ducking and covering and trying to figure out the best way to get you. They kind of are just fodder for my unlimited killing abilities.
Right.
And they play the role pretty well, Dan. So far on this first bit, they've been grunts mostly.
Yeah.
Nothing too special or really too difficult at all, like you said. Sometimes they got new weapons, like the little sniper rifle. Personally, I really enjoyed the opening boss battle. My strategy was to continuously strafe in a circle.
That's what I did too.
And then jump when I needed to, and the whole time just unloading, just holding down the triggers.
I was doing the same, but I was pressing the triggers multiple times. I was exhausted.
Yeah, I could see why that would be very tiring. It did take he's got his 3 typical boss battle type of deal.
Yeah, it's typical. The health bar goes down, and then at one moment there's a quick action part where quick time event. Sorry, and then after that's done, you have another bar which goes down, and that's pretty much he has another special attack during that time and such. It's very, very similar to video game boss battles, to be honest. Yeah, exactly.
I will say the quick time event, I didn't mind it, but it went a little slow for me because I didn't really know where each weapon was on my person, like intuitively by seeing an icon. So like that just took a second, but I feel like there's more of those in each boss battle, I'll be better at that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I was also gonna say you were also talking about how like the human characters that you were mentioning, the ninja characters are a little bit harder to kill in the second mission. You have standard ninjas who are like jumping up and down, kind of like disappearing and appearing in different areas and such. And if you try and get close, they'll try and just disappear and go behind you or so. So there's a little bit more that you need to think about. But then also you have like these big ninja grunts as well with like these face masks, and they have like you know how like the grunts in the first hour, they have like shields, like the big guys, they have shields, and then you have the
ones with the baton. Yeah.
Similar to that, but they have like 2 samurai swords, and they're like just big grunts, and they actually explode after you kill them. So you need to get out the way as well. So it all becomes frantic in the second mission, and then we'll see what the other missions are like, to be honest. But I agree with you. I think with the lightness of like the combat, it's not deteriorating because it kind of suits the game. The one thing that I miss, and we talked about this off camera, is in Path of the Warrior, where you can use environmental kills, where you can hit them into like let's say neon lights and they electrocute and all that stuff. I really wish that was in here. Now, after the first 3 hours, it's not. There might be in future levels, but right now there has been nothing. And if it was a thing, I would assumed it would have been there from the start, to be honest, because there was plenty of opportunities in that first hour, let alone the first 3, that you could use the environment. And that is one of the best parts of Path of the Warrior. So I'm sad that that's not in there, to be honest. Yeah, that'd have been a class act.
Same.
Yeah.
That I didn't even think of it until afterwards talking to you. And I was like, yeah, those would have been perfect.
Would have been perfect. And no intro music or anything for the boss battles. There is a bit of an intro, like when you see the boss, there's like you're in like a VR camera mode, and you're kind of watching the boss say its stuff, and then you go into it. But in Path of the Warrior, they have like the whole frame where it shows their name and all that stuff, and that's a really cool part. And one of the things that we wished was going to be in the game, but unfortunately isn't. These are tiny things, to be honest.
It did kind of feel like a cutscene, but it was 3D.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, like a 3D cutscene itself, yeah. So we do have that at least. You mentioned there the grapple gun as well is your lower back. I also wrote that down as something that I've never seen before, of using a weapon in your lower back. And I think I might know why. Because for me, it was often frustrating trying to grab it, because the amount of times I grabbed my sidearm, even though it was in my lower back, like it worked a little bit, and then it didn't work. And then when I was
you're not going far enough back?
Maybe. And then I was facing the boss battle in the first one, shall we say. And in the quick time event, you need to use the grapple gun. And one time I just couldn't grab it. I tried so many times I couldn't grab it, and then it just it cancelled and it went back into the battle. No. So I had to beat him again and then get back to the quick time event.
Oh no.
So the grapple gun in the lower back I thought was really cool, but I've had mixed results of it working. Kind of like with people with Arcane Age with the like what you call
pickaxes?
The pickaxes.
I've had no issues with my grapple gun.
Yeah, so I guess it might just be dependent on... Are you using the Quest Pro controllers, or are you doing the Quest 3?
Those are still in the closet.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they didn't even work properly in the end, right? They had issues, I think you said.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could charge them up and boot them up again. It's been a year, probably, but...
Yeah, never mind.
What I got's working.
So we've already talked about the enemies, but quickly on the boss battles... I found the first boss battle kind of annoying because I had to press the shoot button every time, but obviously this seems like a me issue because you didn't have to do that. So it might not be as bad, but it's like what we said, like a classic boss battle from a video game. I would like more interactions with the environment. There is interactions, but it's like it's not too much. The ninja one boss battle, you face this ninja woman. I thought that was better. Very melee based once again. Well, at least I did it that way. I'm sure you could just shoot her properly, but I didn't think that was taking up too much health compared to it. But there's a lot going on, and it's a really cool environment being in this like Japanese kind of environment, and it's at night as well. And the graphics looks fantastic. The visually stunning game. So yeah, it was a better boss fight, but still much the same. Like it is just the same kind of boss battles, just like slightly different mechanic or so to try and get down.
They got their own little quirk, I imagine.
Yeah, I don't have too much problem with the boss battles. They're boss battles, and it's not like they're not like amazing. The ones showing like the Batman, those boss battles were a bit more intuitive for sure. But the way this is, I don't find it too bad. At least for the first two. We'll see what the other ones are. Sam, so we just mentioned there visuals. Looks great, right? In this, it's in a comic book kind of style, and it's super sharp. Graphics look gorgeous on the Quest 3. And aside from, there is pop-in, but it's like, the way they did pop-in, it kind of feels like it's fading in rather than just pop randomly, which I don't know if that's just what happened when I was playing it on the Quest or so. But it's not, the way the visuals are and such, it's not obvious compared to Reach or Arcanage that just came out, where you see that more often. The way they've done it is kind of just like faded into the actual environment, and it's not that noticeable unless you're really looking for it, to be honest.
Where do you notice the pop in? Because I haven't really noticed it, but it's not really something that I'd really notice. I notice it if I'm going.
There was an area in the first hour what you've played where I think it's in the first hour, I might be mistaken it, but you grab hold of like a grapple. Not a grapple gun, but you're holding on to like a zip line, and then you're going down. And then as I'm going down in the zip line, I saw the pop-ins that happened as if going somewhere like really fast. But like I said, it's nowhere near as noticeable as like a Reach or an Arcanage. Reach for sure, that was very noticeable, but not as noticeable. But what do you think about the cel-shaded graphics?
Yes, the cel-shaded is great, and I'm sure it will age well, because a lot of these types of games do. Yeah. I did notice, I feel like, some aliasing along like the outside of the characters. But I think I only noticed this during a cutscene because the gameplay is very fast.
Yeah, you don't notice it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. The graphics, everything feels very immersive. Like everything looks pretty polished. Good. There's one cutscene where you've got two characters talking to you, or like pretty close to you. And I remember I just walked up really close to one of them and got up in his face, and I was just looking at his character model, and it looked good.
I did the same.
It's a good style. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same in the hub world afterwards. I was just looking at the character, and I was like, this is pretty nice. I do want to say the one downside that I've seen is when it does, in the first hour in that first mission that you did, never noticed any problem whatsoever. It was really polished, all great. With the ninjas, I don't know if it's because they're more mechanics going on with their characters or so, but they had a lot of frame rate drops, and it's just the characters themselves. Like the actual environment or you playing, nothing wrong, but the actual like enemies.
You sure it's not the ninja frame move?
Yeah, I'm sure it's not. But they're like real frame rate drops, like really low, and it kind of got messy when there was like 2 or 3 people at you and you're trying to like kill them, but the frame rate's really laggy and then they're like choppy and so on and so forth. I'm not sure. I've looked online and apparently some people got that, but restarting the Quest kind of solved that issue, because it may have been something that wasn't loaded. Yeah, something like that. So I'm not sure. I did 1 playthrough, like 1 3-hour playthrough last night, so I'm not sure. I haven't tried it. We'll tell you more next week for sure. That was only one downside, is that I did get a lot of frame rate drops with the ninjas itself. Even in the boss, like the whole thing. It started off fine. But it like midway, about midway in the ninja stuff, it started to get really crazy. which makes me think that it might have been a restart and it might fix it, because it started off absolutely fine, and that opening mission in the Ninja Cave, there's so many of them in there as well, so it's not like it was the amount of people, but then eventually slowed down in the later part of the level. So yeah. So we got to talk about the voice acting and the humor in general. Tell me about did you,
go fuck yourself.
I actually didn't find. Now, okay, let me just preface this. Deadpool, if you've watched the movies, it's the crude, witty humor, a lot of swear words and all that stuff. I don't actually care too much about the humor and such. Like, I don't find it particularly funny. Like, I do maybe at the start, but then a 2-hour, 3-hour movie, I'm kind of over it, but I don't really care for it. It's like, it is what it is. It's that kind of humor. But in this one, you have a lot of that the same for sure. And, some of the stuff that I didn't really find funny is like, whatever. But the one thing that I always laughed at, and I still do, like 3 hours into the game, is when he breaks the fourth wall, and he does it consistently. And obviously that's just the character of Deadpool in the movie, but you don't really see characters in the fourth wall, breaking the fourth wall in a game as much compared to a movie. And having it in the game is hilarious. Like, there's amount of lines that he's talking about, like, okay, this door's not opening, but then he says, oh, this door's obviously going to open after some big thing happens or whatever, and then something happens. It's like, see, typical video game nonsense or all that stuff. And all those little bits like that is it's really funny in the moment when you're playing it.
It is extra surreal, I guess, breaking the fourth wall when you're in VR. You are encompassing the character, right?
That's true.
It's a little bit,
The acting is, the Neil Patrick Harris is fantastic in it. He sounds great. He's hilarious. It kind of does sound like Neil Patrick Harris in a way. Like, if I watched How I Met Your Mother or something, I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely the same character in a way, in some sense, in terms of some of the humor.
Just think it's Barney.
Yeah, some of the humor, but they always have kid mode to take away the swears out, at least if you're a bit worried about that. But obviously,
and the blood too.
Yeah, I actually didn't find the blood too crazy, but that's probably because everything's moving so fast and everything's all over my headset and whatever. It's all like crazy. But yeah, anyway, what did you think about the humor and the voice acting?
It hasn't been too much for me quite yet, but I also haven't played much of the game. I feel like I tune out a lot of what my character is saying. Not so much that I'm like ignoring it. I'm just like focused on other things, so I'm like hearing it, because sometimes I'll just chuckle. I'm like, oh, that was a good one. That was pretty good. But usually I'm just like, all right, where am I going? Like, I'm just focused on the actions and the activity I'm doing. I appreciate all the humor. Some, like I said, some of it's made me laugh out loud. Will it get old? I don't know. Probably not. By the time I feel like by the time I'm done with this game, I'll be like, all right, that was enough of that. But I'm sort of able to. It's not thus far. Like,
you raised a good point.
I tuned it out.
It's not. You raised a good point that I forgot to mention earlier with the gameplay. I played last night for 3 hours straight, and it was a lot, to be honest. Like, I was really tired, and I went to bed, and I woke up this morning, and I was like still pretty tired. Like, I've just been like screens all day kind of thing, and
you really felt like a dead.
I felt it, and because of how like fast paced this game is I would recommend trying to play this. At least for me, I would play this like maybe at 1 hour bursts, because 3 hours of it is a lot, and it's not, the humor's like whatever, it's fine, but you do kind of get over it a little bit, so it doesn't hit as much. But it's just the intensity. It is like, I went on the Quest website, and it does say intense on there, so it's the highest level of intensity, and it does feel like that. And it's not like I didn't get motion sick or anything like that. I was just tired, like really tired of like eye strain, and like just tired in general.
You played the whole intro and then the first mission, right?
Yeah.
Because I do feel like if like I just played the intro, and then I'll probably next time play the first mission. I feel like if you take it
mission by
segment
mission,
at a time. Yeah, mission by mission, probably.
The second mission did take me
gold.
like 2 hours to complete, but that could be because when you go into
Player.
It could be player, yeah. I died quite a few times in the traps because I was trying to get used to it, but I did like the death sequence, by the way, where it's like a camera following you and you get to watch yourself die. And then when you go back, it's like, oh, regeneration and all that stuff. But when you do complete the intro, which is like an hour in itself, and you go into the hub world for the first time, and the story kind of starts and such, and you're trying to understand what's happening here. That whole like section where you're basically been captured and you're watching these three characters talk at you whilst you're like restrained. That's like 10 minutes. Like, so I
sat down.
I sat down for that whole time. You can skip it, but I just sat down for the whole entire thing. And then when you go, so the hub world is a classic hub world where on the left you go and you start the next mission. In front of you, there's like a Mojo TV is what it's called. And there's like a whole like side mission if you wanted to, or like mini game that you can do. And then on the right is you can upgrade your equipment with Mojo bucks. So you get Mojo bucks basically with the when you do any combat, there's a Mojo meter that appears, and there's basically viewers. So you're being live streamed, the whole idea of it. And the way you kill, if you do it in like a variety of ways or more flashy kills and all that stuff, you get rated at the end and you get Mojo bucks, and then you can use that to spend on upgrades, and you can upgrade all your weapons. And I don't know if they will have like a significant jump in terms of the weapon ability. I didn't see anything of like this weapon's stronger, but like for example, the grenades, you can have like an electric grenade, or there's a sticky grenade and all that stuff. So there's different types of like weapons and guns that you can get. It
forces you in that like intro to buy the new katanas.
Yes.
Is it just visual? Like I couldn't tell.
I felt like it was just
more.
I don't think they did much, to be honest. They felt like the same, to be honest. So that's why I'm not sure if it's just like cosmetic, but you do have a special ability though. Like once you get your like full viewer count as you're like killing all these people, you can press the X button on your controller and you get a special ability. And it's kind of like how in Path of the Warrior does it as well, where you have like the special ability mode where you one hit kills. You know, you have all the different kind of things on your watch. Same kind of thing. But the first one that you have is like a deck of cards, and you have this like music playing. I can't remember which track it is actually. But you'll recognize it when you listen to it, and you get to just flick the cards, like purple cards, and they make like this electronic like kind of get pathway, and then they kill them in pretty much one shot. And it's really fun because you have that for a little bit of a moment. But you can get different abilities like that as well that you can pay for. And then last thing is that you can have different suits as well. There's so many. There's like 20, it looks like 20, maybe 15 different suits that you can buy from all these different Deadpool eras. And here's the thing, Samson.
Zoot suit riot.
You may have noticed in the first hour that there were rooms that you couldn't go into. And one of them in the first hour said Lady Deadpool. And you put your hand on it and it wouldn't access denied and whatever. I don't know if this is the thing, but I'm assuming if you get like, I'm not sure if there was a Lady Deadpool suit in there because I didn't look through every single one trying to pick out that. But let's say if there is one, which I'm assuming there is, I'm wondering if you could get that suit and then go back to that first mission, the intro mission, and open that door, right? Because it's in the ninja one as well. The ninja one, there's which one was it? I think it was like a safari person or something like that, or whatever. And
it's probably the replayability.
Yeah, where you can kind of go back into the missions, and I don't know what they do when you go into the rooms, but yeah, that's much my theory itself. But it's all that to say, you know, coming back onto it is it's an incredibly intense game. So try and do it in bits. I would say do it in hour chunks or whatever like that. Because then I think you'll have a much more enjoyable experience because it is an intense VR game for sure. But it does feel like part of it feels like the old Spider-Man games in a way, like on PS1, where it's very comic book related,
orientated.
Yeah, it's like from there, and it's I think if you're like a diehard Deadpool fan, like I'm a big Spider-Man fan, so if this was like a Spider-Man version, I'd absolutely love every second of this. And I think if you were same with Deadpool, I think once again you would love every second of this game, to be honest. So one more thing before we talk about overall thoughts and wrap this up, and then we'll get into Demeo in part 2. I just want to mention, I'm not going to spoil it. But in the ninja one, in the ninja mission, shall we say, there is a part of that mission where you actually don't do any combat. So there are like 4 samurai people, but they're like ghosts, and you have to do the task for each one of them, and each task is like you have to go back into the village and do something. Like one of them's combat and such or whatever, but one of them, the task is basically you need to go into this house and figure out what the special move is for this like specific like ninja that we love, like this is like godlike ninja or the legend ninja. And to way you find out that special move is basically there's like 5 or 6 paintings scattered across the house, so you got to get them all and put them in order to kind of like figure out what that move is, and then once you do that you can go back and then that unlocks it for him. It's hilarious. It's actually really funny when you put it together and you're like, oh yeah, okay. Okay, right, that's a special move. It's really funny. So look forward to that in the ninja one, but I'm sure I wanted to point that out because in the opening 1 hour it's just combat. The second ninja on, you had that little period. It's still mostly combat, but it's that little period. So I'm wondering in future missions that it's like maybe 80% combat, but there's still like a little bit of maybe a puzzle element of it or something light. It's really easy, but like something to break it up rather than just fight after fight after fight. Anywho, Samson, let's wrap this little part up. What's your overall 1 hour thoughts? Have you got anything else to say before we wrap this one up?
Well, I really do love the collectibles. I found 8 out of 10 of them. It gives you a reason to sort of look around all these little areas and to jump, to use that double jump, get around things. Overall thoughts, I'm having a really good time. It's early, yes. So I don't really feel comfortable giving like a buy recommendation or like a buying recommendation, but I bought it and I'm pretty happy with my decision thus far. And I think I'm getting like everything I expected out of this. It's over the top killing. It's very arcadey. I don't have to worry about dying. Like the superhero super healing is very, very useful. Dan, it's very useful. It's a great superhero superpower. I don't even think I could have told you what his superpower was. I've seen the fucking movie, Dan, and like I never really like put it together, but it makes a lot of sense now. Yeah. And so you never really have to worry about your health. It's super fun to do all this killing. The platforming thus far pretty solid. Double jump, Dan. We do not always get, let alone a jump button. Now we have a double jump.
Yeah. Wow. You don't have to do a run and jump. It just press it twice.
Just boom. Jump right on top of that jump, just like a video game.
So excited to play more?
I am excited to play more. I'm happy.
Excellent. After my 3 hours, honestly, it's once again, like you said, it's hard to recommend a game after 3 hours. After playing the first hour or so of Reach, I was like, this is going to be like a really good game. And then as I was going in, I was kind of lukewarm. Still a good game, but it's not as good as I thought it was going to be with the first hour. So it's never good to just go, okay, yeah, you should definitely buy it, you should definitely not, or anything like that. But it is $50. It is at the top tier. It's the top tier of VR games itself. It makes sense why it's $50 with obviously the license. It's also meta published and all that stuff. But for like obviously a lot of us, you would like thinking about, oh, should I get this or should I get Arcanage or should I get Reach or should I, you only can afford. We have comments all the time in the Discord, and also I've seen them in my in our Spotify comments and such, where people are like, oh, I only can afford one game this fall or this month or something like that and such. Which one should I get and such? And in that case, I think you might just have to wait a little bit until we kind of can figure out like our opinion once we get through most of it, to be honest. But it is $50. I think this, though, I could comfortably say this, is that if, like I said, if you're into superheroes and you really love Deadpool, and you can take just light-hearted, not taking it seriously, like arcadey fun, then it's probably going to be worth every penny, to be quite honest with you. But if you're like
I don't
me,
like it Deadpool though.
Yeah, so if you're like me and you're like, you know, I'm Deadpool's Deadpool, I'm not really too fussed about it or whatnot. But I've played a game like Arcane Age recently and such. $50 for me, I would say it might be a little bit. If I was not doing this VR podcast, I would probably wait until Christmas time. Not because of just waiting for a sale, but more to be like, then I'll have more time to play it and enjoy it more because I've gotten through other games and such. But yeah, at the first 3 hours, it's chaotic. It's really fun. There's no depth to it whatsoever. So if you played something like Arcane Age or Reach recently, both of them, it feels like it has more depth to those games compared to this one. This is kind of like what you see is what you get, you know?
There's way more like voice acting and all that in this. Like the set pieces, there were no set pieces like that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. In Arcane Age and such, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But like in Arcane Age, they'll have like side quests and puzzles and such, and you know, there's kind of more to it in that respect. But in this one, it's just you kind of go into arena in a way, and you're kind of doing the combat and such, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's the type of game of what it is. So yeah, I don't think from now the first 3 hours it's a day one must buy for me right now. But like I said, if you love Deadpool, if you love the movies, it's gonna have an absolute blast. And if this was a Spider-Man, I would say this is like one of the best games ever, because I would love a Spider-Man in this kind of world. Obviously, it feels a little bit different mechanics, but you get what I'm saying.
I mean, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, and that's the responsibility we have, Samson, of giving everyone our thoughts. But yeah, that's Deadpool. I think if you buy it, you're going to have a great time no matter what. But yeah, we'll tell you some more thoughts in the future. Samson, that will do for part one. Part two, we're going to talk all again for Demeo Dungeons and Dragons Battlemarked. So for everyone, we'll see
Green Goblin
in part two.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
All right, welcome back to part two, where we were talking about frickin' Deadpool VR. That's without swearing. Part two, we're going to be talking about Demeo times Dungeons and Dragons Battlemarked. This is a game that we got from the developers. So first of all, thank you so much for helping us out with the early code. This game, just to give you a little intro, and then we'll get into impressions. You've got 2 campaigns to start. There's going to be more 6-hour plus campaigns as well to go through, especially with all the like side quests that you can do in the campaigns, and all the dying that you can do, like I have done in the campaigns as well. It's 1 to 4 players. You can play this on your own, and you know you can control every other piece, or you can squad up. It's $30 USD. If you play Demeo, the tabletop game, it's very similar in terms of the mechanics of that game and how it feels, but in the end of the day, this is like more of a full-blown kind of like tabletop story and with narration, and it's kind of like Demeo on steroids in a way. And I like the fact that we've now got Demeo Battles, and Demeo Dungeons and Dragons, and it feel like 3 completely different types of game in the same kind of like realm itself, right? You get a bit of like go straight into like some action in Demeo for 3 hours or whatever. You go straight into quick battles in Demeo Battles that you can knock out quickly, and then you want to like more of a story with narration, you got Battlemarked, and they're the kind of like 3 pillars. You know?
And soon we'll have like Demeo chess, where it's just like they use the Demeo pieces, like your pawns are just all rats, you know, that type of deal.
It's actually a great idea. Samson, tell me about your thoughts. You've been playing this much more than me, only because I suck at the game, I'm not going to lie, but we'll talk about that in a second. But tell me about your initial thoughts here.
Yeah, I'll talk about how much time I put in first, I guess. So I played through the first campaign called Embers of Chaos. I played that solo, and then I pretty much played through it with Brian Paul of Without Parole. We did encounter a bug that ended our play session during the final boss. But they knew about it, and they are on it for a day 1 patch. So I had better luck solo, so to say, but it pretty much did the whole thing 2 times. I did a little bit of the second campaign, Crown of Frost, but not too much. I kind of wanted to save a little bit of this for when I play with my friends when it comes out. But Dan, I was really hooked. I could not get myself away from this. Like every night after work, I was putting it on and I was playing a little bit. Yeah. It feels like Demeo expanded. It's really everything I wanted and expected from this.
Yeah.
Excellent voice acting, music's good. You've got to strategize, right?
Oh, for sure.
You go into a battle and you kind of given the scenario and you've got to think like, all right, with these guys, I'm going to do this and this is how I'm going to attack this. And if you fail, it's pretty easy to just it just has you retry that right there. Right, that scenario, so you can just immediately try a new strategy, if you will.
Yeah.
I forget how many people there are. Was there 5 or 2? There's like 10 classes, 8 classes, something like this.
There is 6 classes. You've got the Paladin, the Sorcerer, the Ranger, the Rogue, the Fighter, and the Bard. They're your classes.
Okay, so off the bat, I chose a Bard. And then if you just pick one person, it'll be like, this might be hard. You should fill your roster. So I just automatically fill it in. And I think
wait. You can play it on your own, like just one piece?
Yeah. So the first time I played with Brian Paul, we started with just 2 pieces.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, I told him, I was like, this is going to get pretty hard, I think. He was like, let's give it a try. So we got through like the first area. Yeah. And then immediately hit a spot where I was like, yeah, I think we should back out. And it's not exactly.
Yeah. My gosh. Yeah, fair play.
I imagine you could if you had really, really leveled up players or something like this, right?
Well, you can level up your characters, right? So you can come out of the game.
Yeah, perfect transition.
Up. Yeah, so you can come out of the game and you've got heroes in the menu, and you go in there and you can level up your character.
You can do that in the game too, right? From the wrist menu.
On the wrist menu too as well, yeah. So
that is actually a huge difference that makes this game a little differentiates it from Demeo, because you can take a character, you can take them on the whole campaign, and then that leveled up character you can then take on another campaign with somebody else. I couldn't what was it? When I did play multiplayer, it only had XP for like our first selected player, and then we could each control a second player, but they weren't like accruing XP. So it was just like one character per campaign. But Dan, when you select that character, you can pick their name, so you can name them butt plug or whatever you want. And
it's playing too much Deadpool.
No, I'm too used to naming my nemesis in Pokemon.
Fair enough. I love that.
But yeah, then you can just Dan, you can develop the character however you like. So you, even if you have several bards there, right, or several of the same type of character, your secondary, right, there's wisdom, there's a bunch of different, I don't know all the D&D stuff, but you have a primary and a secondary, and those things can be different. So how your level, like you could have the similar type of character but have them be completely different in many different ways.
Yeah, you could have 4 sorcerers but different types if you wanted to. I guess, you know. It's obviously you play Demeo quite often. I hardly play Demeo now. I remember playing it when it first came out. Played it a little bit.
I do prefer battles now.
Playing battles as well. Yeah, exactly. So I've played a bunch of it in the past, but I haven't played it all year, for example. So it's been, and I've been playing this on my own. So it's been taking me a while to get used to it, and can't even finish the first campaign because I keep getting stuck at battles, and I just get like maybe there's too many people around me, or maybe I've unlocked areas and all of a sudden now I can see enemies over there, enemies on the right. I've been flanked by enemies. And the thing is, when it comes to these type of games, it's obviously turn-based combat. It's a role-playing game. It's really about like leveling up your character, like you said, but also knowing all of your character's strengths and such. So
and weaknesses.
And your weaknesses. So as a player playing this on your own, you have your 4 characters. So I had the sorcerer, the rogue. I think I had the bard as well. And I don't know which one the dwarf is, to be honest, but I'm assuming that's the fighter, to be honest. But anyway, let's say I had those 4 people. And a sorcerer was my main person that I selected first. I thought I did bard, but I definitely did sorcerer. And because I thought, oh, maybe I'll be better at like long range attacks and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, I have to learn all 4 of those characters and kind of figure out what their best spots are and such. And it takes a little while. It takes a lot of trial and error, a lot of like dying. For me, it's when you're playing on your own. I think mainly playing with like multiple people who can like maybe just think about their own character and such. It might make it maybe not easier in some sense, but maybe a little easier when it comes to your own character's weaknesses and like, I need to put this piece over here because if I put him too close, that's not going to be to his strength or anything like that. Or maybe I should use this card for this moment. Yeah. Or maybe like the mushroom enemies should need like a weakness to fire, so I should make sure I do fire over there rather than ice or whatnot, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, I similarly I had I noticed that 2 of my selected characters had armor buffs, so I was like, all right, these are going to be my characters that I like go do physical, right up on them. And then I had the bard and the ranger, so I kind of kept them close, and I would have the bard buff my ranger so that the arrows would do more and that type of deal. So I kind of had like the 2 doing like going up to people, and then I had 2 kind of more distance.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were definitely times where I'd go into a room, I'd get kind of spanked around, and then I'd be like, nah. My turn to do the spanking. Daddy's home.
Oh, you played too much Deadpool, I'll tell you now.
I'm watching too much Sopranos.
That's fair enough. Like the game in terms of just like visuals and such, it looks fantastic. It's beautiful. It kind of, I'm not sure if it looks better than Demeo or Battles. I mean, Samson, you played Battles recently. Like, is it kind of much of the muchness in that respect?
I don't think I can differentiate the 2. It's very much the same, very similar style. Sharp. You're just going to very different environments here. Like you go to the woods, you go to the mountains.
There's a lot of cool environments in this one actually, and I've been actually playing exclusively in VR mode. I did switch it to pass through once just to see how it is, and it is as sharp as it is in VR as in pass through. Like there's no anti-aliasing or anything like that. It looks fantastic. So you can do either one, but actually, I think something to do with the VR mode. It was kind of like you're in like a attic in your house, and it was kind of nice to play it that way in that kind of room. But yeah. And I had it.
I hopped in there
to me as well
for a couple minutes. I did. Did you ever crawl really far away from the board? Because at one point I did this during.
No.
Yeah, I did this during some sort of like voice acted piece, and the voices get like fainter.
Oh, did
so
they?
It's like they're actually coming from the board.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I thought that was a pretty nice touch. Yeah.
Yeah, the music's great. The sounds and music as well. Like it's actually really immersive. It's funny because it's a tabletop game, and you're looking down at it, or you can have it angled as well, so you're not looking all the time down. But it's incredibly immersive. even though it's like that, right? It's fantastic. It's a really well designed, really well done game, and I think people who are into this kind of game are gonna absolutely love it. I don't have any. Actually, I have one gripe about it, and that is just a hand tracking issue. So I was playing this mostly hand tracking to start, and you hold. I know. I don't know. Tabletop with the pieces, I kind of want to do hand tracking, and holding you have to close your fist, and then you can make the board bigger, smaller. You can move the board around when you've closed your fist.
You got to fist the board?
Kind of. You've gone crazy today with these references. Not references, but just, I guess, Deadpool references. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. But I realized that when I'm resting my hands, I'm almost in a fist anyway, like it's close. Like my hands are...
So you just kept grabbing the board.
So it feels like, I'd always just like the board would move and such. And I changed the controllers and it was 100% better. Like so much better in terms of controls and such. But yeah, I always like to try the hand tracking. But, sometimes, you think about the Steam frame in terms of they've omitted the color pastel, they've omitted the hand tracking and such. Sometimes you're like, okay, yeah. That's fine. The controllers do work well, like really well. Mostly,
I only use them, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the only one gripe. But apart from that, I actually don't have any notes. It's more like in terms of recommending this game, it's like if you are into the tabletop, or if that kind of floats your boat, you're gonna absolutely love this. It's like a damn near almost perfect game in that genre. But for some people, you're not going to enjoy that type of game, so it's just not going to be a game for you. It's kind of like on the flat screen, it's like, are you going to play a Final Fantasy? If you're not into that type of game, you're not into that type of game. Doesn't mean the game's bad, it's just, it's for that kind of genre and that style. But do you have anything that you maybe didn't like, or any gripes about it, or you think it's pretty much the same as me? Like I don't have any notes on it. I think it's like just a really solid game.
Outside the bugs I encountered, I had no real issues or anything like that. It's sort of everything, like I said, everything that I wanted out of this. I think Demeo D&D, and that is not Do Not Disturbs. That's Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's the absolute perfect game for someone who wants a turn-based RPG story game. That you can take on alone or with friends. I did find it an easier time to take in the story alone, as opposed to with a friend. We were more like, all right, let's get to the battle. So if you want to take in the story with friends, make sure you're all on the same page, and you're like, hey, we're gonna listen to all this voice acting here. Yeah, because it will add to the time. Significantly, I'd say. The side quests that help you level up, then the 3-level dungeon to get to that boss. That part felt exactly like Demeo. Yeah. Enemies do respawn, so to say. Not respawn, but there are more waves. So to get through some parts, you have to get a key by killing the enemy with the key, and then find the exit. If you're just mulling around or whatever, more enemies will just come. Which you can farm XP that way if you like, but you can't say, hey, let's clear this whole floor and then go, because the floor ain't gonna be cleared.
No, I noticed that as well. How was I didn't ask you this, but how was the boss fight itself? Was in the first campaign, without spoiling too much, but was it very similar to a Demeo boss fight?
Kind of in that. I mean, it felt shorter than a Demeo one, honestly. Mm-hmm. Well, the first time I did it, I got pretty smoked. Fair. But then I was like, all right, now this is how I'll attack it, and let's just say I took advantage of some weaknesses, Dan.
You're playing the game to its strengths. There you go.
Yeah, and there's similar to Demeo. There's a store front where you can buy cards, trade and sell your cards, that type of deal. Yeah. It's so replayable too. With each campaign, you can play it with new characters or new types of characters. And get a completely different feel, challenge yourself in that way.
Try and do it alone with one person.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
Maybe
so that first boss fight, it was intimidating, but then I feel like, or like you get to a room that's intimidating too.
Yeah.
But you just sort of like take your breath, and if you need to, you die, and then you come in better prepared the next time. You know what, they're not going to really change what they do. So I'm pretty happy with this one. I will be buying it on another platform, maybe the 2 other platforms. And then hopefully maybe I can get myself a little Demeo D&D LAN party, Dan.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, it's I think you nailed it, to be honest. Obviously you've played it way more than me in terms of how progressed you have gotten. I've really enjoyed doing the little side quests. I like that when you're in your story, fun, you've got your map and you get to choose where you're going to go. You don't have to go straight. It's kind of like GTA style where you have all the different letters and you can choose which one to go to. You don't have to go to the main missions. You can do the side ones as well. And you talk to all these different pieces. And it's funny because like as you go around and talking to pieces, you have to do it in the turn order as well. So it's like you have 2 turns and then you move it to the next person and such.
I do want to say, so like when you go to the tavern area, which is sort of where you get assigned these missions and things like that, I always found it good to make sure I left on the second turn for somebody, because when you enter a new area, if you like leave on somebody's first action, then they'll only have 1 action to start the next time.
Oh, really? I did not notice that. That
happened to me at least once, where I was like, wait, usually I would start a battle like buffing with my bard, but they're not starting. Yeah. Oh, wait, I only had 1 action. Yeah,
you've moved them already in the tavern as well. Yeah, fair enough. The voice acting is fantastic. The person who does the narration is great, but also just the characters itself are really fun. They're really well done, and it's kind of like I said, it's like one of the perfect games in this genre. And I'm actually surprised, maybe not too surprised, but this is the game of the year, having Alien Rogue Incursion in there. I feel like Demeo deserves to be in that spot, to be honest, instead. Just because of how, like,
personally, but
game of the year is a big thing, for sure.
A turn-based RPG board game is...
I know.
That's a tough sell for game of the year.
It's excellent. These games too is like, you really just need to learn your players. You need to learn those weaknesses, strengths, weaknesses. Try again.
And the cards.
And the cards, yeah. I'm playing another RPG right now, actually, on the flat screen, Claire Expedition 33, which is actually also up for Game of the Year. And doing that as well as Demeo at the same time was actually a bad idea, because I have to learn kind of the abilities of them over in that mode and then learn it in it. It's not tabletop, so it's a little bit different, but it's the same kind of thing on the surface in the end of the day. You're kind of just learning your characters, learning the best what you're going to do, and then learning the enemies and their kind of weaknesses and such. But that's the type of the game it is. But yeah, that's the thing. It's a flawless game in this genre, so well played, Demeo. Knocked it out the park. Resolution Games, Demeo, right? So knocked it out the park once again. Samson, that will do for our part 2 for this super long episode. Part 3, we'll talk about a few other VR game showcase stuff and wrap up the show itself. So we'll see you in part 3. Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. And also, if you love us so much, then consider throwing us $1 at patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. Back to the show. Welcome back to part 3. Obviously, this is the Frickin Deadpool show and the Demeo / Dungeons & Dragons Battlemarked show. But we've talked about those games. Let's take over this last part of the show. It's been a long show, so we're going to kind of steamroll through this. But let's quickly mention this VR game showcase that was on last week. Once again, they do a great job in terms of the show and in terms of what they do and present itself. But I would say that when it comes to these kind of shows, they're very, like, however they go, it's kind of dependent on what your tastes are. These kind of showcases, if you go in and a lot of the games are for you, it's the best showcase ever. If they're not for you, it's the worst showcase ever. Those kind of things.
I do feel like they've been pretty broad as of late.
They have been pretty broad, but in this showcase, less things that I was interested in compared to other showcase, to be quite honest with you. But to just go over our highlights quickly, Vampire Survivors was a really nice surprise. I haven't played that game, but I know all about it. I try not to play that game because I know how addicted I'll get on the Steam Deck if I was to buy that game, which is why I think I've not played it. But that was a really nice surprise. The other thing that I really like the look of is Deadly Delivery, which is actually a game. It's like a co-op game, but it's also single player, I believe. And it's actually, I think it's going to be like $10 when it comes out to USD in a couple weeks' time.
Right now it's on sale for 10% off on Meta, $8.99.
What's that like? Yeah, USD. Like 10%. Yeah. The art style, the actual trailer that they showed in the VR game showcase was actually really funny. Of how it was, but it's like a delivery driver. They've been asked about, the things that he wants to do,
to jobs or something, right?
Yeah, and all of the stuff is like, you won't, you'll have all your limbs for now, or all the stuff, and then it cuts into like being a delivery driver. It's kind of like a horror game in a way, but yeah, you basically take up postal jobs, and it's just a lot of death and such, and it just looks kind of.
I think
fun.
You're basically going through like caves or like sort of dark areas to either deliver packages or retrieve packages and then bring them back, I think.
Yeah, but then you're going to die quite a lot, and it relies on proximity chat as well. It kind of gives me like Phasmophobia vibes in a way, in terms of that social connection of what you're going to do, but it's not that kind of horror game whatsoever. It's more of a you're going to die a lot kind of horror game.
I do think you want to work together on this for sure.
100%. Yeah, 100%. But that's it, to be honest. There was is it gun control on, which was like a Half-Life Alyx mod, but now they're turning it into an actual game. That one looked really good too, but obviously for PC VR. But they're just the 2 or 3 games that I thought looked really cool. What about you, Samson?
Well, Deadly Delivery. I've that's still been on one of my most anticipated. Dan, the Men in Black game. Who knows? Oh, yeah. Nothing really shown for that, but that could be a game. That could be a game that
It could be a game
I play. We'll see. Vampire Survivors. I did buy that. Very fun. It feels like Vampire Survivors flat, just reinterpreted, a bit more immersive, but not like overly immersive. I don't know if that's a thing. You're still playing on like a flat surface, but there's like a third dimension to them. It's just as addicting. I've just had my first successful playthrough of like 30 minutes or whatever, but I played. That was like my third or fourth.
Is it like is it basically like the same game, but you're kind of on top-down VR kind of thing?
Yeah, or you can move it around, so you can kind of be up as close to it as you want, or have it further down.
Yeah, fair enough. By the way, just on the Men in Black front, made by CodeSync, who developed Jurassic World Aftermath, and cel-shaded, and it's also cel-shaded in this game as well. It comes out December 5th, and it's $25. But just doesn't have any gameplay, which is kind of really weird.
Yeah, that is a little nerve-wracking. And then, were these other bits from the Upload Showcase, or these are not? Because the Banners and Bastions full release?
No, that was just the other news stories. Maybe it was. I didn't watch the pre-show, so I
think it was in the pre-show, yeah.
But Banners and Bastions is getting a full release.
Wait, sorry.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. Because there's one more, VR Giants. I've played through most of that one on Steam with Amelia. Yeah. And VR Giants is a fun little platformer where you got 2 people. It sounded like you'd have even 2 people in VR now. I don't know.
Oh, fair.
Somebody just playing with the joystick, I guess, as the little... it's basically a giant is a person in VR, and a little platformer guy that plays as a platformer, either flat or apparently in VR now. And you work together to solve puzzles and get through each level.
Very cool.
But yes, Banners and Bastions.
Full releases next month, and It's going to come out with two new enemy types, which is like the witch and the elite swordman, and a new playable minefield card as well.
And it has controller support now as well. And apparently a new dragon boss battle.
Ah, fair enough. I actually did not see that part of it, but
there was right before those bits.
Fair.
I think those parts might be out now, and so they're not.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, that's
like,
updated now, but the full release is in December itself. Very cool. Walkabout as well. There's nothing on Alice in Wonderland, but they've added chess into Walkabout. Have you tried this yet?
I have not. It's on Upside Down, Venice, and the Welcome Island.
Correct.
And apparently, when you get near it, you just start using the trigger. I think
you can just move the
pieces, and there's no rules, so you can play no rules chess if you'd like.
You do whatever you want. You just throw pieces into the river in Venice if you want to.
Exactly.
That's
I have
hilarious.
not played it yet, but I appreciate it.
It's incredibly random, but I love it. I love it. So that's kind of the news stuff and the VR game showcase. They announced there'll be another one in March, I think, or something like that.
Tiny news.
Samson, in terms of what we've been playing, it's just been Demeo and Deadpool for me. Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Yes. Luminous Arise, I've continued. I'm still pretty bad, but I am chugging along. Because when you fail, you can just kind of continue from that same level. So is much like Tetris Effect. There's a few levels in each segment, and then you've got to like finish the segment. So I'll get up to like the last level, and then I'll fail, and then I'll just retry that last one. But I'll start with a cleared board, so I can actually get through it.
Yeah.
I'm going to read their little storefront page description. Luminous Arise is a heart-pumping fusion of addictive puzzle gameplay, thumping audio, and eye-popping visuals. Experience a synthetic journey of sound and light through over 35 handcrafted stages where every block, every combo, and every beat is a feast for the senses. It's got single player and multiplayer, as well as leaderboards, which I don't even bother.
That's a great description as well. It's like a really good description.
I was really loving the visuals, and they come at you like three-dimensionally. They're very bright. They're very, very, very vivid. And so I was curious if Tetris Effect, I was like, wait a minute, is this like, it's kind of how I remember Tetris Effect, but like, what was it actually like? So I booted up Tetris Effect as well, and I was like, I see. Everything's a little more subdued. Like, I see how they expanded on everything.
Cool.
So, Luminous might push out Tetris, even though I do love myself. Like, I'm still not at the point where I don't have to think like in Tetris. I just do.
I wonder if this will ever come out on Quest. Maybe not.
Luminous Tetris did take a while.
Yeah, but Luminous has always been a Sony game, to be honest.
But
I don't. Yeah, that's true. I'm just looking now that it's not published by Sony at all. So maybe they just have some. Maybe it's not even exclusivity. Maybe it's just the fact that they just haven't made a full VR one, right? Because you don't need a PSVR to play this. It's optional. So maybe it's just more of like, this is just, they made a standard version and they've added VR support because the PSVR 2 has it.
I think Tetris Effect took a while to get to be fully where it is now.
Yeah.
It had
so it might
some
come at some point,
updates. Yeah.
But another reason to get the Steam frame, I guess. It's a Steam frame exclusive. It might be the first exclusive. Who's to say? And Midnight Walk.
Well, it's on PlayStation, Dan, where I played it.
Roger that.
But I also got into Forefront and a little bit of Walkabout, which I guess those ones are pretty mainstay. So I don't need to go into the details. But we did do Closest Putt in Walkabout, and it was a great time. I love using these sessions as Closest Putts, and although now we have healing entrees, we're back, Dan.
Yeah,
which
we're back.
I forgot
new season.
Yeah, I forgot to mention it in housekeeping. So
We mentioned it. We didn't.
Yeah, but
we
I
didn't
forgot
say
to
what
mention
it
the
is.
course.
Yeah.
So looks like the housekeepers are back. And so we've got Atlantis mini mode easy and Taurus Trap giant mode hard. And those scores are due in by Monday, November 24th.
I like his new
Eastern.
graphics, or updated graphics, should I say. They look still similar, but they have the extra visuals in there with the different modes, which is pretty nice. So thanks so much.
He's expanding.
Healing Entree. Okay, final thing before we wrap up. Games out this week. Samson, I think everyone knows what the game's out this week because we keep talking about them. But per tradition, let's talk about let's say the different descriptions. Samson, do you want to start off?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. We got Deadpool VR. Feel what it's like to go deep inside Deadpool. Not in that way. In Marvel's Deadpool VR, an original game developed exclusively for MetaQuest 3 and 3S, contracted by Mojo with the promise of making money. Like, a lot of money. Deadpool sets out to capture villains from the Marvel Universe. The merc with the mouth soon realizes he shouldn't have so hastily signed the contract. Will he survive or thrive in this journey to become the Mojoverse's most famous interdimensional streaming star?
I guess I cut a lot from that thing because it's such a long description, but from that you'll be thinking it's a completely different game. But yeah, it's I guess that's the basic story of it. The next game is The Thrill of the Fight 2. The thrill is back and bigger than ever. Step into the ring in The Thrill of the Fight 2, the fully reimagined sequel to the VR's most beloved boxing experience, now in early access with enhanced multiplayer and major new features coming soon. They have not updated their storefront. Now it's coming out fully with the full single player amateur boxing campaign that you can do. Whether you're a seasoned fighter or getting started, this update brings fresh ways to train, compete, and dominate. I can't wait to play this game. I've not touched any of this game for the whole early access because I just wanted to wait until the single player comes out. So I'm excited to try it this weekend. So back to you.
I am interested in what you say. We have Demeo Dungeons & Dragons Battlemarked. Experience the magic of Dungeons & Dragons like never before in this tactical, cooperative, digital board game set in forgotten realms. Command your heroes, unravel sinister plots, and forge mighty alliances in turn-based combat and choice-based storytelling. Collaborate to victory. Up to 4 players can tackle adventures together, coordinating moves, setting traps, and combining abilities for maximum impact. Teamwork isn't optional. It's your most powerful weapon.
Yes.
Prefer to go alone? You can also command your party in skirmish mode.
Don't do it. Don't do it alone. It's too hard. I'm kidding. You can do it alone if you're better than me at these kind of games. Beautiful. Samson, there are 3 big games. You heard a lot about Deadpool and Demeo. That's our show. It's a big show.
Nice one.
Yeah, nice one. Nice one. Next week we'll have more show for you to enjoy. Remember the Game of the Year nominations. There'll be a Google form in the description and in the Discord. You have till December 6th, so we will say it again next week and say it again the week after, to be quite honest with you. Until that time comes.
Got some time.
Yeah, we got some time. So definitely fill that in. But thanks everyone for listening. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, I've been Dan. He's been Samson.
Ta-ta.
And we will see you next week.